Hello, this is BaccaYarro, also known as Lorax42 on dev.bucket.org, and I wanted to show you another tutorial demonstrating how to use automated Movecraft systems. In this case, we're going to show you how to make an automated passenger ferry airship for your server. Now, I'm using an airship because I'm an airship guy, but you could also use a sailing ship or even a submarine or any kind of Movecraft craft to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an automated ferry between this tower, and you can see the ferry running right there, and then there's another tower way over there which the ferry is going to take players to. So as you can see, the ferry docks, and then if you wait long enough, it gives you a little message saying, hey, the ferry airship for the vault will be leaving soon, all aboard. And then the ferry is going to turn around and go the other way. So why do you do this? Well, first off, because it looks cool. And a big problem on servers is getting new players to find all of the areas. So, you know, you've got your starting area, and then you've got maybe an area where you want players to develop, and you need a ferry to take them from the starting area to where you want them to be. So this just helps new players get acquainted to your server, and provides some really great atmosphere for a server. Alright, so let's talk about the mechanism. So in order to make this happen, we use command blocks to direct the ferry along its route and to kind of run the whole system. I use a plugin called CB Wrapper, which simulates a player. And the simulated player is going to pilot the ferry and take it from here to there. Alright, so let's dive right in. First off, the mechanism has to be, or should be, in chunks that are going to always stay loaded whenever your server is operational. So in this case, I've built this mechanism near the spawning location. On this server, you spawn right here, because the spawning area is always loaded in the server's memory, okay? So you will probably also want to build it in your spawning area, unless you use a different plugin which keeps chunks loaded. And you can have it underground, because remember, a chunk is from the sky to bedrock. So you probably want to put this mechanism underground in a protected area, protected by bedrock, so no one can go and interfere with it. Alright, so let's dive right in here. I know this probably looks complicated, but it's actually a lot easier than it seems. And I'm going to have, this time, it's going to be most convenient for me to provide you with a world save, which will have everything. It will have this mechanism, that tower, the other tower. By the way, I didn't make these towers, so don't give me credit for their design. I just downloaded them. So I'll give you that big download for that'll have all of that. It also has a bunch of other stuff that I've been working on. This is my build server. I come here to work on airship designs and work on mechanisms and things like that. And like the ferry's coming back. Okay, so let's talk about basics. So we have this huge path, which for a signal to go in a loop. Okay, so it starts here on this manual start button. And what does it do? Well, it loads a schematic of the airship docked to that tower, and the schematic also includes the entire lane that the airship travels. Why do you do that? Well, so that if something ever gets in the way of the airship, for whatever reason, it will be deleted when the signal gets back to here, or when you start it by this manual start button. So that's important to know. If people build things in the lane the ferry travels in, first off, it'll stop the ferry. The ferry won't be able to move past it. And then when the signal makes it back over here, it'll be deleted. So I would recommend setting up some kind of permission system, world guard, whatever you want, that's going to prevent people from trying to build in the lane. Otherwise, you're going to have people complaining when their stuff gets deleted. Okay, and let me... Okay, we're going to come back to this. Let's go over what the signal does kind of in general first. So it goes through this, which starts the system out and resets it in case something went wrong. Because no system is perfect, and you can have problems, so it resets everything back to the way it was to start out. Then the signal goes over here. Then it goes to this. This is my basic timing mechanism, okay? All it is 2 hoppers which transfer these redstone dust back and forth between them. It takes a little over 4 minutes to transfer all of the redstone dust that was here into there. As that happens, it puts a signal out on this wire, and the signal slowly grows over time. So it starts out over here, then it activates this, and then it activates that, and you could put other stuff over here. Like you could have, I don't know, maybe a command block halfway through the trip that says, if you look off of the starboard side of the aircraft, you'll see the majestic mountains of, I don't know. But so you can have anything happen along the journey. You could have additional turns in here and things like that. Then the signal comes over here, and it does 2 things. First, it comes back over here and resets this clock, so that this is going to be reset so that it's ready for the next trip. Then, it also sends the signal this way and starts this other clock, which, if you read this, you can see the first clock was from the Wizard's Tower, to the Vault Tower, which is the one over there. And then this one is from the Vault Tower, over there, to the Wizard's Tower, over there. Make sense? So this is the journey... Let me see. This is the journey south. This is the journey north. And again, it's exactly the same. You've got the redstone being transferred from one hopper to the other, which is going to light up this wire slowly over about 4 minutes. So then the signal finally makes its way back over here and starts the whole thing over again, setting everything back the way it was, pasting in the airship in case something went wrong. Alright, now let's get into the details of what each command block actually does. Again, this will be available in a world save so that you can refer to this. And they're all commented, right? Commented, that's a programming thing. What I mean is, they're all, these signs show you what every single one of these does and what it's for. So I don't think you're going to have problems figuring this out. Again, it looks complicated, but yeah, I think you should be able to figure this out. Alright, so the actual commands. To load the schematic, we're going to use CW, which is the CB wrapper command. So this is telling our simulated player to load up the ferry airship starting point schematic. And that's a schematic I took while the airship was docked. In fact, I'm going to stop this thing. So you stop it by... Oh, well, I was too late. It's already started the return journey. There. Okay. Wait, did I do that right? Hold on, let me check. Yes, because that's ticking down, and this should also be ticking down. Nope, it's ticking up. Okay, so I need to... Wait. It's probably started again. I apologize. Okay, let me just make sure that I've stopped the airship. Okay, that is ticking down. This should also be ticking down. Yes, okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so I took a copy of the airship in its docked position at the starting point, and I arbitrarily determined that the Wizard Tower would be the starting point. And so all you do is you do //cell extend. These are world edit commands, so I have the world edit plugin installed, and you'll need that, by the way. So you'll need world edit, you'll need CB wrapper, and you'll need, of course, Movecraft. And then you left click to start the selection, right click to extend it, and I want it to extend around the borders of the airship, okay? And then the bottom as well. Okay. And then let's get the tail. Alright, that should be the entire borders of the airship. Now, I'm going to extend a little further this way, because what if, because of some bizarre circumstances, it could happen that the airship comes in backwards. If that happens, then I need to delete the airship's tail. So I'm going to do //pause2, which extends my selection out here. That way, if the airship comes in backwards for some bizarre reason, then it will delete the tail when it resets the cycle. Alright, and then we go way over here. I'm going to increase my speed. Way over here to the other side, the tower that we're headed towards. There's the tower that we're headed towards. And I'm going to stop my selection right here where the airship is going to dock. So the airship docks on this side. Okay, got it? So we now have a selection that comprises the entire expanse from there to here. Alright. And then I would copy it, and then I would do schem, save, and then the name of the schematic that I'm going to use, Airship Ferry Start Point. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So what we're saying is, get a copy of the traveling lane as it exists in the starting point of the journey. Okay. Let me turn my speed back down so I can actually maneuver. Okay, back to this. So, as we mentioned, we have that schematic. We load it up here, schem, load, ferry, airship, start point. And again, these are world edit commands. Then this is a Movecraft command. So we're going to release the airship if it's being piloted. So again, CW command CB wrapper /u, meaning user. This is the user name of the player we are going to impersonate, and that user is going to be named Ferry01, so that you could have 10 or 12 of these if you want on your server. Release, meaning release the airship that he's in command of. And then the signal goes through this little corner here and hits this, which, as the sign says, pastes that schematic that it loaded previously. So CW/paste -O. -O means paste it in its original location. So I took the schematic while the airship was there. It will be pasted while the airship is there. Anyway. Then the signal comes around here, starts up this clock. I already talked about that. Hopefully that's clear how that clock works. The clock is going to run a series of commands. The first is this all aboard chat, meaning that this is a Minecraft console command, which is it tells @A, meaning all users that satisfy this requirement, which is to say all users within a range of 50 of these coordinates, x equals -36, y equals 108, z equals 227. Basically, that's that platform right there. Anyone within 50 blocks of that platform will get a little message saying, you know, the airship's going to leave soon, all aboard, blah, blah, blah. Alright. Then, simultaneous with that, it's going to pilot the airship. So if I look in here, I'm going to see another one of these CB wrapper commands with the user of Ferry01. -O on a CW command means run this command as if there was a player standing at these coordinates. -O space, then those are the coordinates I want the player standing on. You can use the tilde. Let me show you what I mean. So if I do tilde -36 instead of simply -36, then the way that works is it's an offset from the command block's position. Okay, so I could do tilde, 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 and that is going to make it an offset from the command block's position rather than a specific coordinate. I'm using specific coordinates because I didn't want to have to do the math. Yeah, okay. Now moving on. Then, after the airship has been piloted, a few seconds later, it will activate this series of blocks. Starting with this one, which will turn the airship. So again, CW, that command, CB wrapper command, the user is Ferry01, again, and it's going to rotate right. So it rotates the ferry right. Then the signal goes through here, which is just a brief little timing mechanism because I want to rotate it twice so that it'll be heading the other way. And in order to do that, we have the first rotation here, then a short series of repeaters just to slow it down a little bit, and then it rotates again. Exactly the same command, rotates again. Okay, then the final command is you start cruising. So CW-user ferry 1 again, cruise south. So from there, it's going to cruise that way, which is south. Make sense? And then 4 minutes later, so it goes through all this. This takes 4 minutes for the signal to make it all the way over here. It goes back over here, and these are essentially all the same command blocks. It says, you know, the ferry's going to be leaving soon, and then it says, and then it, you'll note there's no pilot on this side, right? So it does not pilot the airship again. It simply turns and, whoops, oh, screwed that up. What I did is I removed one of the clicks from that computer. Anyway, and then it turns again, and then cruises back north. That's it! That's all we have to do. So now we have an airship which will go back and forth between 2 points. Now let's hop on there and I can show you how it actually works. We're going to need to start it again. So I'm going to hit this button. Okay. Alright, that should start the clock. I wonder if I can make it on that ferry before it leaves. I guess I'll find out. Oh, I didn't make it. Don't leave without me! Of course, if I had already been up there, this wouldn't be a problem. Oops, brilliant. Alright, good enough. I'm on board. Okay, so here I am on the ferry. And, you know, you can look outside, you can watch the shadow moving along the wall. It's kind of cool. And this ship... so this is just a normal ship, right? This is simply a Movecraft airship, just like any other, follows all the same rules. So I mentioned that I have something that resets it in case something goes wrong. Well, for example, if, say, a lightning bolt strikes this airship, it will catch on fire, and it will sink. And if you're on it at the time, you might die. So, yeah, it follows all of the same rules. It needs fuel. There's some furnaces up there. I guess I could go up there. See, there's these furnaces, and if you run out of fuel, it'll stop moving. Of course, since the schematic is repasted in every time, it's not going to run out of fuel. So, let's see, other things about it. If it's blocked, it will stop, of course. And, oh, we're getting close to the tower. There it is. Also, how do you stop it at the other point? Well, what you do, anytime on your ferry's route, if you want it to turn or if you want it to stop so that people can get off, put a block that, as in a Minecraft block, that will block or obstruct the airship and prevent it from moving forward. Okay? So on this side, I'm prevented from moving forward by the actual tower. So the airship will move forward until it hits the tower, and then it will stop. If collisions were turned on, it would start colliding, but I've turned off collisions for this airship. Okay, here we are. So we're on the tower. You know, we can get off and, you know, walk around. But I want to get back on the airship, so I'm going to hop back aboard. Close these doors. Anyway, so now the airship is turning, and now we're headed back. Let's see, there's some other things we should talk about. So, right now, there's a memory leak in the Minecraft client. And I don't know if I can do anything about it. I'm going to try. The problem is when you send chunks to the client, it eventually gives you a Java out of heap space error, and the client crashes. Not the server, the client. And it's easy to fix, you just log out and log back in. But the problem is that because of this error, right now, if you were to ride on this ferry for an hour, eventually your client would crash. And because your client crashed, you might end up falling in the ocean or have something bad happen to you. And I know that's frustrating, and I'm trying to fix it. But for now, there's not much we can do about it. And I'm hoping that because like I say, it is a memory leak on the client side. I'm hoping that they'll release a version of the client that fixes this. And maybe by the time you watch this video, it might already be fixed. I don't know. Let's see. Other things that you should be aware of. Give me a second. Currently, you cannot go up or down. You can only cruise in specific directions. Cruise north, south, east, west. If there's a lot of interest in this functionality, I could add that. Probably wouldn't be too hard. That functionality to go up or down. But at this time, I'm just using the commands that already exist, which is cruising in the cardinal directions. And I guess one more thing. So this could be expanded, and I have actually done this on my server. I've set up NPC merchant airships for my players to plunder. Which is kind of cool, so that you can go out in a pirate ship and there's these merchant airships flying around, not piloted by a player, but just piloted automatically, just like this ferry is. And you can sink them, and they have loot on board that you can grab. So, you know, that's kind of cool. So this is a very expandable system. There's a lot you can do with it. Another thing that I've done with it, anyone who's seen the Temple of Remembrance videos, that's the Temple of Remembrance right there, knows that there's a similar system to this where you can play a mission where an airship is going to come and bomb a city, and you have to stop the airship from bombing the city. So you can use it for those kinds of PvE events where your players have to sink a ship or do something, do something like that. Well, that's about all I have. So I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have, please subscribe. I'm trying to build my subscriber base. And I will see you next time.